Hi YouTube, tonight it's Lindy and Bart coming to you from the apartment in Bauji, and I'm going to do a flip side of the video I put up last night about things I don't like about teaching English in China. So this is the stuff that I do like about teaching in China, and the first thing, number one, hands down, is getting to interact with the kids that I teach. My students are maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 12 years old, depending on the class and the level. And I've been here for about a year and 3 months, and I've had mostly the same kids. I've had a few classes get canceled. I've had a few like where I switched with somebody, but I'd say probably like 60% of my classes are the same kids from when I started, and they're used to me, and they've kind of let me into their little world, and I love getting to play with them and watching them learn and grow. When I first got here, they didn't know how to say I don't know, and I would ask them a question like, oh, how old is this person? Holds up picture of random person. And they would just keep guessing random numbers. I'd say, no guys, no guys, no guys. And they finally learned that sometimes I don't know is the correct answer, and that's wonderful. And I made it a point to teach them that because I've been doing like life things here in China, and sometimes people don't know, and I hate it when they do this, but they'll pretend they know the answer, and I'll do what they tell me to do, and it's not right, or whoever I interact with next will be like, who the hell told you to do that? So I'm trying to teach them when they're little that it's okay to say I don't know. Something else I tell the kids, and I guess I'll just preface this by saying I went back to America during this past Chinese New Year, and while in America, I fell off a cliff, broke my foot in 5 places, and when I was in the emergency room, the doctor was actually Chinese, and we were just talking about me teaching English in China, and how when I teach the kids, I try to make it, I guess, not gender specific, and I tell them, you can do whatever you want. If you're a boy and you want to arrange flowers, cool, go for it. If you're a girl and you want to work on cars, cool, go for it. If you're good at what you do and you're passionate about it, people don't care. As long as their stuff looks good, as long as their car works, they're not going to care if you're a boy or a girl. So if you're good at it and you like doing it, do it. Do it. And the lady in the emergency room who was taking care of me said, thank you for teaching them that, because a lot of Chinese parents are very, very traditional, and I think that sucks to teach a kid that, like, oh, you can't do something that you really love and you're good at just because of what's between your legs. No, that's ridiculous. So I try to teach them that, and I've noticed they've become more comfortable with me, and that makes me feel so good, because at the end of the classes, I'll play a little game with them if they're good, and the winner of the game gets a toy to take home, and I have 2 choices. I have these little toy cars, and I have stuffed animals, and normally girls pick the stuffed animals, boys pick the cars. But I have had a few cases where I've had a boy pick a stuffed animal and I've had a girl pick a car. And one of the girls who wins on a somewhat regular basis, she is this cute little girl, really petite, really tiny, and she always picks the cars. And she comes dressed in these cute little dresses, in these little outfits, hair done all nice, and I'd really like to know if she likes cars and she likes to look pretty, if she likes both, if she's getting these cars for like a brother or her dad or somebody, if she's getting them for her. I don't know, but even if the other kids are prescient, like, stuffed animal, you're a girl, take that. No, they're confident enough to pick what they want to pick, and that makes me so, so happy. Something else that I love doing with them, and I decided to do this after I saw this with adults, I have an adopted Chinese big sister, and she's 37, and one day we were just hanging out at the park, and they had a little booth where you could paint, I guess they'd be like ceramic figures, for like $4, and I'm like, sure, that sounds fun, let's go do that. And we were painting one together, and it was like a little girl figurine, so kind of like a doll, and I wanted to make the lips pink, and we didn't have pink, so I just put red and white together to make pink, and she was amazed. And I'm like, what, you don't know how to make colors? Like, you take the one color that kind of looks like that color, and you take the other color that kind of looks like that color, and you put them together. And she seriously did not know that, and I've noticed that quite a bit here, that unless it explicitly says in their textbook, they don't know that. So I'm like, okay, the kids that I teach, we're gonna have some other stuff. So when we were learning about animals, I asked them to put them into different categories. Like, okay, this is the meat eater category, this is the herbivore category, this is the omnivore category. And they're like, teacher, we don't know. And I'm like, it's okay to say I don't know, but you look at their teeth. If they're sharp, pointy teeth, they eat meat. If they're flat, they use them for grinding. And I use those examples to get them to think for themselves. And I love teaching that. And I had a little stuffed animal, and it was a Mike Wazowski doll. And one of the kids later, teacher, does he eat meat? Because Mike Wazowski does kind of have the pointy teeth. And I'm like, you learned. But I had to say, I don't know. He's from a movie, and I've never seen him eat. I would assume he eats meat, but I've never seen him eat. So that just makes me happy when they learn, and you can tell they understand. And like I said, I play games with them, so I have little toys and stickers and stuff for them to win. Granted, I'm a kid on the inside, and I really don't care what people think, but it's a lot easier to avoid side-eye when it's like, oh, lingua lausche, oh, when people see me in the toy section or buying stuff, that it's like, oh, she's a teacher. So I can kind of embrace my inner child, and I can play with the toys, buy stuff, like go to kids' movies, do whatever I want. It's like, oh, she's a teacher, like just she's researching her kids so she understands them better. Okay, awesome. Something else I like about this, and my school isn't like a regular school, it's an after-school school. What happens during the summer is we get a 2-week break, and that's a lot shorter than what I'm used to in America, but fine, whatever. We get to make up the classes, so you do them before the break or you do them after the break, so the money doesn't change, which I think is awesome. I've heard a lot of other teachers complaining like, oh, summer sucks, or like Chinese New Year sucks because there's no money. And I don't understand that, because we get the opportunity to make it up. So it's not like you come back from this, it's like, oh, I spent a ton of money and I'm not going to get money because I wasn't working. Yeah, that's not a problem. And I really like that about teaching at my school. Something else I really like is they have a set curriculum to teach. I don't necessarily like the curriculum because sometimes it's inaccurate, but what I do like is they have flashcards and slides and stuff like that all ready to go. If you want to make your own things, you're allowed to, but generally you can just use the stuff they have there and it works, and that saves me a ton of time. I really like it. Like I said before, some of the stuff in the book isn't accurate, but the flashcards where it like has a picture of like corn or something, and then on the back it says corn or peas, and then on the back it says peas. Like that's pretty hard to screw up, and you can use those and it works, and it saves a ton of time. They also have a ton of like little plastic hammers, so if you're gonna play okay guys and you give the kids the hammers, go hit the peas, and they go hit the picture of the peas. They've got all that stuff at the school, and that saves a ton of time. It's really easy to use, and we do plan our stuff out ahead of time so you know what you're going to teach before you do it, so you can prepare, and I think it's really well organized and put together really nicely. And this is just me, but what I do to keep the kids from going crazy is I divide them into 2 teams, and at the beginning, each kid gets 5 pieces of candy on the team. If someone on your team is talking, if someone on your team is messing with another kid, if they're not paying attention, in general, like doing what they're not supposed to be doing, bye. Everybody loses 1 piece of candy, and the kids go, blah, 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 whoever's name. And they kind of put peer pressure on them, and then at the end, I give them however many pieces of candy they've earned, and then I get to eat candy too. So I think that's a pretty good deal. So those are just some things I like about teaching English in China. And if you're thinking about teaching English, there's tons of different styles and levels to teach at. If you're teaching adults, you might not be doing the candy and the flashcard games, but that's just my personality. That's what I like, and you should do what makes you happy and what you're good at. Like I tell the kids, it does not change when you get up. Not when you get up, when you grow up. If you're good at it and you're passionate about it and it makes you happy, you should do it. So just look at what you like to do and see how you can make it work with the kids. And I know there's a saying that goes, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. And I think that's pretty true. When I just get to play with kids all day, you know how easy that is? And it's like, oh, I get money? That's good. I'm not saying everything's wonderful and perfect all the time. Are there some days where they won't stop talking? Yes. Are there some kids where I'm just like, what the hell? Yeah, but most of the time they're pretty good, and it's not a difficult job at all. I think it's tons of fun to watch them grow and see them learn, and it's a good opportunity. I have a lot of friends in America complaining, like, oh my God, you need experience to get a job, and you need a job to get experience, and it's this whole circle of like, you can't do anything. That's not a problem here. I came here as soon as I finished college and I got this job. There were no like, oh, so what experiences do you have? Whatever do you have? No, they want a bachelor's degree from an American school. That is what they care about. So if you're looking for experience to start a teaching career, or maybe if you want to come and learn Chinese, like you have to learn Chinese. Is mine perfect? No, but I came here and I knew like ni hao, zai jian. That was about it. And just living with my life, like I've learned enough to get around. I can go to a restaurant and get food and say what I don't want on my food. I can tell a cab where to go. I can count, like just life. You learn stuff. So you learn Chinese, you get job experience. Maybe if you want to start a business or something, just you can be here and make connections. So I think it's a good learning opportunity, not just for the kids, but for you too. So I guess that's about it for tonight. If you have any other questions about teaching in China or life here or just anything, please ask me and I'll make a video and respond. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.